What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Nicole Banister, aka NIKKI BANZ, coming to you live once again from Nairobi, Kenya. Today is Tuesday, so welcome to NIKKI BANZ Live. What's good, everybody? Once again, we are still here in Nairobi, Kenya, coming to y'all hot from East Africa. I'm still here. I basically decided to just move to Nairobi for the month. Shout out to my girl Amani, who has been so graciously hosting me with her family throughout this time here. But sad news, this is going to be my very last live interview from Nairobi. But it's cool. It's cool. You know, I'm only crying a little bit. What's up to everybody in the chat? I see my mom and dad are here. What's up? What's up? My girl Noir is in the building. Hey, hey, hey. I see we got Lynn from P&G tuning in. What's up? What's up? I see we got Cam in the building. Hello, friends. Welcome to NIKKI BANZ Live. I do this every single Tuesday. Every Tuesday, I am live bringing you exclusive one-on-one interviews with the most amazing actors, artists, entertainers, and activists from around the world. And tonight's guest is no exception. He's an international musician. He's a world-renowned drummer. He tours all over the globe working with some of the biggest artists. His name is Aaron Smith, and he's gonna hook us up with all the behind the scenes of what it means to be an international musician, what it means to go on tour with superstars, how he got into drumming. He will tell us all the things. Oh my gosh, I'm loving everybody in the chat. Shout out to my boy Normando the Magician, future guest in the building, tuning on. Hey Normando, love to see you. I see we got my boy Q in the building. Welcome, welcome. I also saw, who else did I see? Oh, Lynn said I look fly. Thank you, I tried. I have to say, you know, I'm basically rocking everything from Nairobi at the moment. So my earrings and my jewelry, most of this is from the Maasai market, this incredible market in downtown Nairobi with all the most amazing fabrics and like literally everything you can think of in a market, it's there. Like, it's just incredible. So of course I went a little bit crazy, you know, hooked myself up with all sorts of things. My shirt, this shirt that I'm rocking today, woo, woo, woo. Shout out to the team over at Endo Squared, Yvonne and Patty. Amazing, amazing Black-owned, woman-owned business with the most incredible shirts and clothing and all sorts of things. So yes, you know, I have to do it big. Whenever I travel, I always want to buy from local artists, support the local economy, as my mom likes to say. So yeah, you know, we doing it big. It's my last live interview from Nairobi, so I had to come correct. Socrates, trainer, coach, I look awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Well, everybody, I'm just here chit-chatting away, but I know that our special guest is already in the building. Once again, his name is Aaron Smith, international musician, drummer extraordinaire. I can't wait for you all to meet him. It's just going to be absolutely incredible. And this will actually be the first time that he and I are having a one-on-one conversation. So I'm about to bring him on right now as we launch this Tuesday's episode of NIKKI BANZ Live. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you really ready? All right, I know you're ready. I know you're ready. So let me bring him on right now. Here we go, party people. Now is the time. Let's go. Hey!
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hello there. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I am so good, Aaron. I'm so excited to see you. You look great as always.
Oh, thank you. Likewise, likewise.
I feel like this is one of the things that you and I match on. Like, anytime you see us, we just have this big, huge smile on our faces.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I agree.
It's like one of the things I love most about you.
Oh, well, thank you. Listen, I always try to smile, and I'm always in good spirits and in a good mood. So it's always natural.
Exactly. And that shines through. That's why you are as successful as you are, my friend. Nothing but good vibes only.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All good vibes. That's the only thing I believe in.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I hear you. I hear you. Well, Aaron, I always like to start off the show by letting all the guests and everybody who's tuning in right now, letting people know how I know the different guests who I'm interviewing. And so this one is a fun one because, Aaron, you and I have never met in person. We literally just met on a panel a couple of months ago. We were both on the same panel for this amazing organization called City Year that places, teachers in different, urban and low income areas, around the United States. And so Aaron and I were both on this panel talking about, jobs and next steps and career paths, for the teachers as part of City Year. And then we just like totally vibed. And I was like, I have to get this guy on my show.
Yes, it's been good vibes ever since too.
Exactly, exactly. So that's how we know each other. And I've given a little bit of an introduction, to who you are and what you do. But I always love, I would love to hear in your own words, Aaron, like when people ask you, who are you? What do you do? What are you about? Like, how do you respond to that? Talk to us.
Pretty much, I just tell people my name is Aaron, of course, Aaron Smith. I'm from Muncie, Indiana, which is a small city, 45 minutes outside of Indianapolis. Born and raised there my whole entire life. And I've been playing music for a while. I started playing drums when I was 2 years old. And so I was considered a prodigy as a kid. And so my parents kind of saw the gift in me and kind of knew how to support it and cultivate it, but also like not force me to do it. They let me still be a kid, but this was something that I naturally just gravitated towards and just wanted to do. And yeah, I started playing professionally at the age of 10. That was the first time that like I got like a check for playing drums, and it was for $75, but that was like the best $75 I ever made in my entire life. And so I think that was like the first time that I realized like, oh, I could make money from this. Oh, this is cool. And so I just kind of grew from there. My parents put me in drum lessons as an 8-year old kid. So I started learning how to read music at 8. The teachers kind of told me, well, they told my parents that they couldn't really like teach me anything other than knowing how to read music. So I started learning how to read music at an early age. And I don't know, I just always had a passion for music. I just always just been in love with music, producing music. And, I'm known for like, of course, playing drums, but I also play piano. I also sing. I have my own record out called 765, which everybody asks me like, what is 765? And I'm like, that's my area code. That's where I'm from. And so
Hey.
I always said that whenever I would come out like with a record or anything like that, like I'll always dedicate it to like my city and where I'm from, because I'll never forget where I'm from and all the
Mm.
amazing musicians that have came out of that small city, Muncie, all of my close friends and everything who have pushed me to be who I am today and all those other things. And so I don't know. It's just my whole life has just been music, music, music. I was kind of the oddball as a kid. Like my mom sings like in church. She sang professionally for quite some time, a little bit, with a gospel group. But other than that, like my family isn't like super musically inclined, at least like professionally. Um, that's kind of just been me. Like my father, was a really really smart electrician. My brothers are smart electricians as well as my middle brother. The middle one is like into like really like into cars and engineering, and so our backgrounds are kind of different as far as our interests are. But all in all, my parents, my family have just heavily supported what I do, and if it weren't for
Mm.
them heavily supporting it, I would not be who I am today at all whatsoever. And so I'm very very grateful and thankful for for that, for my upbringing.
Wow, wow, wow. Aaron, what a story. What an upbringing. What a life to have picked up drums and started making music at 2 years old and to then have all this support from your family, from Muncie, from the community. I think that's just such a beautiful story. And I think family is something that, you know, even as someone who doesn't know you that well, family is something that resonates very strongly in everything that you put out on your socials, every interview I've ever seen, you know what I mean? And so it seems like not only just your family in terms of, you know, your parents and your siblings, but also your own family. Like you have a big family of your own, you know?
Yeah.
Talk to us about your family, your own family.
Oh yeah. Well, my family, of course. Well, me and my wife, we met in 2015. Well, really, we met via Instagram.
Oh,
Like
really?
2014, we had mutual friends, and so I started following her because you know she's a singer, she's a professional singer. So I started following her, and you know we was always like dialoguing back and forth, flirting back and forth, but it was nothing serious. 2015, we kind of she really showed interest. And so she already knew that I really liked her, of course, but we were just really good friends for the longest of time. I didn't, you know, she didn't pressure me. I didn't pressure her. We was just, you know, just really good friends for a while. At the time I was 23 and she was 30. And so she was, previously married, like probably like 10, I would say like 10 years ago before that,
Okay,
before,
okay.
before we really got together. So she had 3 children, before I even became, came in the picture. But when I
Mm.
started coming around and stuff, I really got to know the kids, and I would spend a lot of time with them. And I've been around them for quite some time. You know, when I started coming around, they were all like 10 years old, and maybe like 11 or 12. And I would always, because they live in Cleveland, and so with that being said, like I would always travel here. We was in a long distance relationship for a long time,
Oh, wow.
for a few years, and so I would we always made sure that we would at least see each other at least once a month, and so I would drive up all the time. I would find reasons to come to Cleveland. My parents were always so scared and nervous about me coming to Cleveland because Cleveland isn't the safest city.
Okay.
But I would always just jump on the road. I would find gigs here to perform and play. I would perform with her, and
Mm.
we would always be together. And so she's changed my life.
Oh.
She's helped me mature in so many different ways. She was very patient with me because when she met me, I was a single kid in college, and dealing with college stuff and college drama and all that other stuff. And so she was very patient with me. And I knew from jump that she was somebody that I wanted to pursue and be with. Usually when people have children, that kind of scares somebody away. But me personally, like that, I didn't mind at all because I loved the kids like they were my own already.
Mm.
And so,
Mm.
I mean, now they are my kids. They're mine now,
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah.
but to see them grow, from 10 and now, the oldest is 19, and then the other two, they're Irish twins, so they're both 16, about to be 17 soon, and then in 2019, that's when I had my daughter, Elijah. She's very, very musically inclined, and she's 2.
Okay.
She makes up songs already. She always wants to come down to the studio, and she always wants to play on all the keyboards, and she always wants to play the drums. And so I never pressure her. I just let her just kind of experiment and kind of figure things out on her own. And so she's absolutely just a musical genius already. And then I had my son during the like dead in the middle of the pandemic. So now I have a Aaron Elisha Smith II, and
Okay.
he just turned 1. I was overseas on tour when he turned 1, so I couldn't really celebrate. And then unfortunately, I'll be on tour again doing the USA tour with Tina Karol when my daughter turns 3. But yeah, so it's pretty much the Brady Bunch. Um, it's 5 kids and 2 parents. seven of us in all, but you know, our dynamic, we make it work. We work together. Um, you know, we communicate. She communicates with me. I communicate with her. We just make
Mm,
sure that we understand where each person is coming from. You know, I think that's
mm,
very important when it comes to marriage. You have to really, really communicate, good or bad. There's a lot of uncomfortable conversations that happen.
mm.
You know, and you just have to be honest with one another where you are mentally, because sometimes I may be in a dark space, or sometimes she may be in a dark space, and we have to learn how to maneuver through that, and we have to be each other's support. You know,
Mm,
marriage isn't always, you know, glitz and glamour, but there's a lot of great moments. There's a lot of marriage has changed my life for the better. Had I not been married, had I not gotten with Vashti, my life probably would be completely different. Probably wouldn't be exactly what I wanted to be, but God ordained us to be together, and we fought for that, because just because God
mm.
ordained something does not mean, you know, it's going to happen. You still have your own free will to go whichever path you want to go. And
Right, right.
there's been moments where we wanted to, you know, quit and give up, and you know, there's been moments where we fought and argued and all that other stuff. You know, it's not always perfect, but we work together at the end of the day, and we know at the end of the day we want to be together. We don't want to be without one another, so we work
Mm.
through it.
Wow, Aaron, I think everybody tuning in right now is taking hella notes. You have given us all sorts of relationship advice about honesty, about communication, about navigating one another's mental health, one another's careers and career paths. I think that this modern day Brady Bunch that you all have is the most beautiful thing I've heard in a long time. And this was going to be one of my questions. You know, you talked about how you know, you just missed your son's birthday. You're about to miss your daughter's birthday coming up. I was going to ask how you navigate and how you balance having such a big family and your family ties and family commitments alongside all the touring and all the traveling that you do. And I imagine that your wife does as well, since she's also, you know, a singer and an artist. So how do you balance that?
I mean, like I said, it comes back to communication. For one, we really, at the end of every night, we are literally talking about schedules and what we're going to do the next day and what needs to be handled, and all those things. And so, um, really, she's better. Honestly, she's better with schedules than I am. Like, I'm somebody who I'm like, what is that thing that I have to do again? Or, you
Yeah,
know, you already know, because I asked you the same thing. I said, what time are we doing this again? What time is it?
right.
You know, so I just try to, you know, without her, I wouldn't be as balanced. And so we always just communicate as far as our schedules and balancing things and making sure that our schedules don't clash, and if they do, we try to come up with some type of solution. She works from home for the IRS, and so a lot of times, you know, all the kids go to school. We drop them off at school and all that stuff, and then when she's upstairs working from home, I'm downstairs working on projects and working on, you know, recordings for clients and all that other stuff. And so we just, I don't know. I mean, it was a lot of trial and error, but I think we kind of have a formula down now. But it just
Yeah.
comes down to, we literally talk about, like, okay, this is what's going on. This is what needs to happen. At 1 o'clock, this needs to happen. At 2 o'clock, this needs to happen. At 3 o'clock, you need to go get Edward from the high school. At 5 o'clock, you need to go get Elijah from daycare. And so as long as I know exactly what's going on in the schedule, then I can work around that, or she can work around
Mm,
that. And so even with the touring schedule, I was gone for 2 weeks, and my wife had to handle everything that I handle. Like we split up things like we're a team. So
mm.
she's not really a fan of driving. I don't mind driving. So I pick up all the kids. I drop off all the kids. I'll take, you know, Elijah to and from daycare. I'll take little Aaron to and from daycare. I'll handle all that type of stuff. And then Vashti will handle all the stuff at home, you know, and we just are a team. And so
Yeah.
everything comes down to just communicating and just verbally talking about our schedules so that things, you know, line up correctly.
I love that. Teamwork makes the dream work. Absolutely. Shout out to
Absolutely.
your amazing wife, Vashti. Just this is so cool to hear how the two of you. I mean, you're both young, you're both dynamic, you're both creatives, and you are just parenting the hell out of life. This is just incredible. It's really really cool to hear. And thank you for sharing this. And I think one of the questions that I've been kind of thinking of, outside of the family structure and the family dynamics, I don't know, when I look at you and I see you touring and traveling and dropping EPs and doing, projects for clients and stuff, what does a day in the life look like for you from a professional perspective? I don't know. You just wake up in the morning and you pick up drums. What does it look like for you? I think a lot of people would want to know. Those of us who aren't in this lifestyle, I have no idea where you even start. I would love to hear from you what that looks like.
Okay, so it depends. Now, every day starts off with getting the kids off to school. Always.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how my day ends. It doesn't matter how late it ends. It always starts off with taking the kids to school or making sure that they get to school. Usually, I have to start my day off with Starbucks. So I'll go after I drop Elijah off at daycare. I'll go to Starbucks and I'll get a couple like breakfast sandwiches, like for me and my wife. And then like I have to have a caramel macchiato, as well as I need a strawberry refresher with lemonade. Always, every single day.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so, so after that, either sometimes I'll sit and kind of just decompress for a bit, and kind of just get some quiet time to myself while my wife works upstairs. Um, and usually I get started on work at least at the latest by noon. And so I'll come down here. I have a full like 5-star studio in my basement. I come down here. Usually I have some recordings that I do, which I record drums for artists all over the world. And so recently, just the other day, I was working on a jazz fusion record for an Indian artist.
Wow.
And so, yeah, and so I'll come down here, I'll record drums. And so sometimes I'll have a major workload, which, major workload, I would say is like 2 or 3 songs, because working on one song, as far as on drums, as far as for me, I take my time. And so sometimes I'll have to dial in like the microphones, like, so over here, I'll show you. So over here, so this is my little drum set area. Sometimes I have to dial in these microphones. This is my computer and stuff. It's not on right now, but all these interfaces and all that stuff, I have to cut all this stuff on, and make sure all the levels are correct. And then so I'll be listening to the track or whatever. And then I'll pick out cymbals. Like I have all different types of cymbals, all different types of drums. As you can see over here, I have other drum sets. As you can see over here, I have a ton of cymbals off to the side, and just cymbals everywhere, and keyboards everywhere, and just more keyboards. And so,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
it
takes
studio.
Right. So it takes me a while. It takes me a while to kind of dial in what sound is necessary for whatever record I'm recording. And so once I figure out what sound that I want or whatever, or what cymbals I want or what snare drum or whatever the case is, then I make sure I dial in all that stuff. And then that's when I'll start at least learning the song or making notes on my computer of the song. Sometimes I'll practice it over and over and over to get like a feel of how I want to play it, how I want to approach it. And then once I get a set idea of how I want to approach the song, then I'll start recording it. Usually I'll screw up a few times. And so, recording probably takes a couple hours. And then once I get a final take of what I like, I will then send an MP3 to that client for him or her to approve. If they don't approve, if they want something done that's different, then I go back to the drawing board. I'll delete that take, and then I'll do whatever it is that they want me to do. I'll send it again, and if they approve of it that time, then I will you know, bounce down all the files, and then I'll, you know, organize them, save them, all that stuff to Dropbox and all that, and then I'll send the official files to them after I get the payment.
Yeah. Make sure you get that money, honey.
Right.
Okay,
But
Aaron. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
but
ahead.
yeah, but so for the most part, you know, I really enjoy recording from home. Like, I'm able to still sit here and be at home with my wife, with my kids, still handle like outside things, and still be able to find time to record. I try to get all of this stuff done before at least 4 o'clock, so I can sit at least for about an hour or so until I have to go get my daughter at 5. And so I go get her at 5. I'm usually not home because of traffic until about 6 o'clock. So for today I purposely didn't do anything. I was really working overtime yesterday, so I haven't done any work today. But tonight I have an open mic that I do every Tuesday for
Okay.
musicians and singers and poets and MCs. And so that goes from like 10:30 at night all the way till 2 a.m. And so
Wow.
I pretty much stay chilling all day on Tuesdays until that.
Okay.
Unless if I want to practice or something. So sometimes I'll come down here and just really practice. And so I've been practicing way more lately because I've been like super, super, super inspired since I got back from tour. And I just have this fire to just get better and better and better. And so I've been coming down here for about 2-3 hours and just straight just practicing.
Wow.
And yeah, so I just been preparing for this next tour just to make sure that I'm just absolutely on top of it, because God knows I want to keep this job. So
Right, right. Okay, I'm loving like the amount of detail and intimacy we're getting right now, the behind the scenes. Because Lord knows, for somebody like me, I have absolutely no idea how this works. I have no idea how the music industry works. So I'm learning a lot right now. Okay, but first I have a lot of questions. But first off, tell us about this open mic night. Like, where is it? Where can people come if they want to come through? They want to perform. How does it work? Put people on.
okay, so it's called Lyrical Rhythms. It happens every Tuesday in Cleveland Heights, at this place called the B-Side, which is on Coventry. Of course, a lot of people aren't going to know anything that I'm saying or talking about because they're not in Cleveland. But other than that, if you know what I'm talking about in Cleveland, it usually starts around like 10:30, 11-ish p.m. Everybody's welcome. We always welcome MCs. We always welcome singers, poets. There'll be nights where it's just all poets, you know.
Wow.
And
Wow.
sometimes it'll be a situation where maybe nobody goes. Like, it's not a sign-in sheet. Like, if you feel it,
Okay.
just come up type deal.
Okay.
And so it's some, you know, it's just we just vibe. It's just good, all good vibes, all positive vibes. We're trying to really push it for the musicians. So a lot of musicians have been coming lately, a whole bunch of musicians. And so even like international musicians and stuff, whenever they come into Cleveland, like
Wow.
we want B-Side to be like the spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, LA has their spots, Atlanta has their spots, but this is one of the spots for Cleveland. And so a lot of famous musicians or successful musicians always hear about B-Side, and they come there and they want to watch either me play or the band play or whoever's up there. And so it's fun. It's fun. It's just we just drink and play music all
Yeah.
night pretty much.
Aaron,
So
I love this. Well, I'm in Nairobi in Kenya right now, so I'm real far away from Cleveland. But even when I am in the United States, I've actually never been to Cleveland. So now, when I come back, I'm gonna make sure I make it to Cleveland on a Tuesday specifically, just so that I can come and check this out. This sounds absolutely fantastic, and what a great opportunity and platform for artists, poets, MCs, creatives to come together, network, show off their talents. And really to just have this amazing spot in Cleveland. That's so cool, Aaron. I'm definitely gonna pull through next time I find myself in Cleveland. For the first time.
yeah. Whenever you're here, you know, just come
Yes,
through.
I
Come
will.
through.
I will. I will. So you mentioned something earlier about how you are, making the music, adding on the drums for this, this artist in India. How do you get connected to all these different artists all over the world? How does that is it through a record label? Is it through yourself, your networks, your connections? Like, do people just call you because they know that you're the best and they're like, Aaron, we need drums? Like, how does it work?
I would say, what I've learned in this music industry is it's really about who you know. It's not even necessarily about how talented or gifted you are. By all means, there's a lot of talented and gifted individuals in the music industry. So I'm not going to act like that doesn't play a part. But for the most part, from what I've seen, some of these musicians that are put on, or some of them that get a lot of work, it's because they know the right people, and
Okay.
that's great. It comes down to just being a good person, of course. This industry is word of mouth, and so what also has helped me a ton is social media. I would say my social media presence, at least on Instagram, really started jumping, I want to say around like 2016. I still remember having, I think I had like maybe 5,000 followers when I met Vashti in 2015. And then it just started going crazy. Like I was just posting videos of me just practicing.
Mm,
And and the views were like, but back then, like, the algorithms were different. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
we've gone
Right.
through so many algorithm changes and all that. So I try to tell people, like, at this point, don't even worry about like the views and the likes. Like, just post. And
Yeah.
you never know where your posts end up. And so because of social media, because of YouTube, because of Facebook, I've seen a lot of beautiful places. Like, I met
Wow.
a lot of people, international artists or international opportunities because of social media. When I got the gig for Tina Karol, that was through Instagram. Her management hit me up. Her name is Yana. She hit me up. They wanted me to. They were inquiring for me to do some live recording for Tina. This was March of, I want to say, 2020. Um, no, March of 2021. Sorry. It was March of 2021. And this is why I tell people, check your messages. You never know who is in your inbox. Check that,
Yes.
the requests. Check the requests. Like, I check
Yes.
my requests every hour, because there's been so many opportunities that have been in the requests part of Instagram. Like, so many opportunities where I've recorded for people, or, I mean, I play for a superstar now. And so that has literally changed my life overnight. And that was
Wow.
literally in my request. Had I saw that too late, like, I probably would have missed out on the opportunity. So a lot
Wow.
of it has to do with word of mouth, but also like your social media presence. So I take my branding very serious. People take my branding serious. Um, I've built my brand from the ground up. I didn't buy any
Wow.
followers. I didn't buy views. I didn't buy likes. I woke up one day to a blue check, and so, like, and
Yes.
so if you work hard enough, social media can absolutely change your life overnight. And so,
Mm, mm.
um, just take social media serious. I got a lot of friends that, like, they're like, man, I just don't want to be, I just don't want to post too much. You don't have to post too much. I don't post every single day. I post maybe twice a week, maybe probably twice a week, honestly. Like, but
Uh-huh.
before then, like, when I was first getting started, yes, I was posting almost every day. But
Yeah. Yeah.
um, the older I got, the wiser I got, and I just don't want to oversaturate myself online. And
Mm,
so I scaled all the way back from posting. But social media has definitely turned my life around, because I took my brand, I took everything serious. And so once you take yourself serious, everybody else will take you serious. But
mm,
if you take yourself serious, and if you expect people to take you serious, like, you have to move with excellence. um you have to move with integrity, and just always be professional, no matter what's thrown your way,
mm.
no matter if you're disrespected, no matter if you feel like people don't respect you or whatever the case is, you just always move with integrity. And in my early days, like a lot of people would always like tell me like I should scale back on certain things that I would say because I'm like super vocal and honest with my, you know, with my platform, and sometimes that can come off wrong. And so I'm very, very I'm very cautious with what I say and how I word things nowadays online. But ultimately, how I've gotten a lot of jobs or opportunities have been through social media. It just has. And then when people meet me in real life, they're like, oh, he's super cool in real life. Oh my goodness. We have to keep working with him. And so I have this long lasting relationship with people. But you know, nothing at the end of the day, nothing beats like in-person interaction. So a lot of people have a lot of people just love how I am as a person in person. And so a lot of opportunities, like I was music director for the World of Dance tour. That was probably my first tour, like legit tour that I did. And so I was music director for that, and we did a few shows where the dancers would like just dance to our random music. Like I programmed all the music. I had some friends help me program, and we would go to like LA and Dallas and Jersey and these other places, and we would play our music, and they would freestyle dance to our music, you know. And so that was like early 2019. But that came from me just playing in LA randomly. And the president of NBC World of Dance just walked up to me and was like, hey, I really love like your vibe and I love what you guys are doing. He was like, would you like an opportunity to, you know, do what you're doing right now tonight on like, you know, on tour with us? And he was like, I'll give you a call Monday. I'm like, I hear that all the time. Like, oh, okay, yeah, just give me a call. You know, he gave me his card and I gave him my number and stuff. But he really called me on Monday and he was like, he was like, how can we make this happen? And so I took some of my closest friends with me. You know, I always try to put on my friends that I feel like deserve a chance. And so that's first thing. I'm not gonna call industry friends. I'm gonna call my homies that I grew up with in the backyard, you know. And so I called a couple of my close friends and we did the World of Dance tour. And you know, even the same thing for Tina Karol. When I did the first real big festival I did with her, the first night it was like 130,000. The second night it was 160,000 people. I had never seen that many people in my entire life. Like your eyes can't even register how many people you're seeing. And so the bass player is my best friend from third grade. And like they randomly they randomly asked me, they was like, hey, do you happen to have a bass player in mind that can do this gig? I was like, oh yes, sure. You know, but so that was for that festival. But now I have another extremely close friend of mine, brother. His name is Darren Bell. He's on the tour now. But I met him when we were like 15, 16, and we've been close ever since. And the other bass player, my best friend, he's actually on tour with a huge Christian artist doing this big old American tour right now. So he's perfectly fine. But so yeah, so I gave the opportunity. I had an opportunity to pass this opportunity to another friend of mine that I know deserved the chance. And so sometimes that's all people need is just a chance. That somebody took a chance on me, and I want to take a chance on my friends that I feel like deserve a chance. So everything is all word of mouth, but really number one is just being a cool individual in real life. Forget all the social media stuff. Forget all the emails and the text messages and the phone calls. Can we vibe in real life? You know, and so that's number one. And so I would say that is what has catapulted my career is word of mouth, but also just being a cool individual in person.
Wow, Aaron, you just dropped so many bars, so many gems on us right there. You know, the reminder to you know, when you think about content creation, when you're on social media, just to be authentic, to check those messages, respond to people who are trying to connect with you and check in with you. I think that's such a great reminder, especially in the age of, people, who are getting big on Instagram or getting big on these social media platforms, and then they want to act some type of way, but moving with integrity, which is something that you spoke about. It's so important, and I think this is one of the reasons why people love you when they meet you in person. This is why I loved you when I saw you on a virtual Zoom call, on a panel, because you are your authentic self. You pay it forward to the people who you came up with and grew up with. And I think, keeping those circles tight, keeping it within the family, not being too afraid to pass on other opportunities, not having like a jealousy kind of mindset,
Yeah.
but being like, no, I know someone who's talented and well positioned, and paying it forward. These are all such super important reminders for us, not even in the music industry, but no matter what sector, what industry you're in, moving with authenticity and integrity are 100% the ways to go. And I think you're really, truly a role model for that. And it shows. And I think, so well, obviously I'm asking you a ton of questions here. It is my show here on NIKKI BANZ Live. But I know there's a bunch of people who are tuning into the live right now on Instagram. If you have a question for Aaron, I'm going to give about 10 minutes at the end for you to, ask those questions. So what I want you to do is, if you go to the bottom of your screen here on the Instagram live, there's a little thought bubble with a question mark on it. Click on that, and then you can type questions in there. And at the end of the show, I will be sure to ask Aaron all your questions you had, no matter what it related to social media, music, artistry, drums, whatever it is, family, all the amazing things that you touched on today, Aaron. We'll give the fans a chance to interact. So yeah, use that little thought bubble at the bottom and with the question mark in it to ask those questions. I would love to know, Aaron, what have been some of the sort of most impactful collaborations, or performances that you've done? What are some of the moments that really stick out to you?
That's a good question. I've had a few in my entire life. I would start with like the smaller ones, or the smallest ones so far. One performance that stuck out to me the most, as far as like growth is concerned, is there was a live recording that I did when I was 17. It was a gospel recording, and the reason why it sticks out to me is because this was probably like one of my biggest moments as far as growth, because first of all, I was learning how to record. Two, my friend at the time, he's like my big brother, but he was trying to teach me a lesson, but I was too young to understand the lesson. And so like I took offense to that lesson, as far as just being prepared, because really he wanted me to record the entire thing, but because I wasn't prepared, I only got to record like one song. And so stuff like that stuck with me, because I want to always be prepared to be able to, take every opportunity that I possibly can. So that's one that like catapulted or helped me like make sure that I'm prepared, make sure I learn music, all that type of stuff. But I would say the most impactful probably has been just this recent tour that I just done.
Yeah.
Reason being is because we had to learn 32 songs in 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It was a lot of music. And it was stressful at first, because I mean, we're playing for a superstar, so who tells her no? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, me and my friend, like we got together like in our hotels, and we're just, we're talking amongst ourselves, and we're like, bro, we got this, like we're gonna do this, we need to do this thing, we're here for a reason. Like I called some of my other industry friends to kind of like make sure that like we knew we wasn't tripping. Like we were like, yo, are we tripping? Like, are we okay? Are we good? To get the insurance. Like I'm serious. Like it was stressful. Like so we had literally 2 days, and so those 2 days, like there was like a mashup of songs that the music director sent us like maybe 3 days before we got on our flight. And he was like, hey bro, this is the mashup that we're starting out the whole tour with. And I'm like, dang, like I already had to learn like 27, 28 songs.
Right.
Now you're adding on this. So my retention was challenged. Trying to learn
Mm.
everything on top of, as I'm playing drums, I got all these drums in front of me. I got all these cymbals, but on top of that, because I'm playing pop music, I have electronics as well.
Ah,
So
okay.
not
Switch
only do
up.
I have um, acoustic drums, but I have electronic drums as well. And so I got all these pads and these bars, and I got these little mechanisms on my snare drums and on my bass drums and all this stuff called triggers, which the triggers, it's hard to explain. Hold on, let me
I
try
know.
to.
I see you. What you want to show us? Take us.
Yeah,
Show us.
because a lot of people don't, like, a lot of people don't necessarily know this stuff. But like, okay,
Yeah.
so
I don't know.
as you can see, I'm sitting down on the drums right here. This is a trigger.
Okay.
So hold on, let me take it off real quick. So this trigger,
This is so cool.
so this is a trigger. It hangs off of the snare drum or whatever drum you want to put it on. I have another trigger on the bass drum, and I have another trigger on this snare drum over here. And so these triggers activate like when you hit the drum or if you hit the rim. So these are dual triggers. So a dual trigger activates if you hit the head of the snare or the head of the drum or the rim. And so um it'll play two different electronic sounds. So like
Oh.
I can program, like if I hit the head of the drum, I can program like a clap. And then if I hit the rim of the drum, then I can program like an 808 or something random, And
Wow.
so on top of that, so on top of playing acoustic drums, I have to play electronic drums and triggers. And so I have to memorize where all of the electronic drums are
Right.
on top of remembering my parts on acoustic drums, And so it was a lot. It was very, very challenging.
I can imagine. I'm sitting here like, what? I'm learning so much right now, Aaron. I'm like, okay, triggers and this drum and this. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, it sounds like a lot.
it's a lot, but I mean, I have a passion for it, so I
Mm,
enjoy it. I enjoy learning. I enjoy being challenged because I know I'm going to become better,
yeah.
And so I mean, we were sitting at the end of we had 12-hour rehearsals, and when we get done, like we would go get something to eat, and we would just drink and just decompress, like because it was a lot. It was a whole lot, and then she was, Tina is Tina, like she's a superstar, so like she's in superstar mode, and so she wants things a certain way. Like you have you seen like This Is It by Michael Jackson, like the movie?
No, not in a while. Not in a while.
Okay, so on there, you know how if they want something, and these superstars and stuff, like they know their music, and so
Yeah.
you know they want certain things, and they want to hear certain things. They want you to do certain things, and this and that, and so it was just a lot. But
Mm.
after the second rehearsal, I mean, we nailed all that music. Like the music was perfect, and
Yeah, you
so
did.
the music director was extremely happy. Tina was extremely
Mm.
happy, and that was one less challenge, that I've overcame, because
Wow.
listen, I wasn't about to go home.
Right.
It was like I
Wow.
came all the way to Ukraine to make sure that I nailed this music, and I'm going to nail it, and so
Mm.
we
Mm.
we made things happen. And so that was probably the most, like, and then like, all the preparation, and then going to the show and going to every venue and it being sold out and seeing all these people know Tina's music, and to see the
Mm.
impact that music has. And mind you, like, I'm in Ukraine. I don't speak Ukrainian or Russian, and
Right. Right.
they speak English, but it's not like extremely well. And so just knowing and seeing the power of music to bring all of us together
Mm.
under one roof, with one goal in mind, which is to give the best that we possibly can to have the best possible show, and to see that happen, and to see the artist so happy, and then
Mm.
all that stuff. So it was my first. It was a first for everything. Like that was my first like legit like big tour. Um, Also, that was like my first time like being like on a tour bus that had like bunks, like that had like legit beds in them, and
Wow.
yeah, like going around and seeing all these cities, and looking at the culture of Ukraine, seeing how beautiful it is, and just trying to understand and respect their culture.
Mm,
Was
mm,
really fun, and then to do that with my best friend,
yeah.
that was,
Yeah.
we were inseparable. We had to make sure that we were both okay and stuff like that. Like whenever he wanted to go get food and stuff, like I made sure that he wasn't by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Just protecting each other. And so, that this tour that just passed, that we just did in Ukraine, is probably that will probably be my most memorable tour, just because of the experiences and just the laughs that we had, just the amount of
Mm,
laughs that we had, and just the amount of just things that we went through, the pressure, just the being under that type of pressure, and being
woo!
able to still execute,
Yes.
still execute to the tippy top. But honestly, we wouldn't have been able to execute any of that stuff on the level that we were able to, if we didn't like really give our gifts to God either.
Mm,
Um, because I asked God, and I would pray to God. I'm like, God, just help us, like take over our minds, ease our
yeah.
minds, take over our limbs. Because when you're nervous, you start hitting random stuff, or you start forgetting just the easy stuff. Just being
Yeah.
nervous. And I had to talk my friend down, because this was like his first big tour as well. And I just had to talk to him like, bro, like this is what we've worked for our whole lives. This is something that we've imagined as kids, and it's here.
Mm,
It's time.
mm.
It's time to execute. And so,
Yes.
and we did. And so, it was amazing. And so that's why I would say that was probably like my most, probably the most iconic, most impactful moment so far in my music career.
Wow. It just sounds like so much growth, so many opportunities to just learn, to excel, to prove not only to you and to Tina and to everybody there, but to the entire world that that you can be there, you can be on these major stages, you can play in front of 160,000 people, you can learn 30 songs in 2 days and a mashup. It's I think it's resilience, it's excellence to the umpteenth degree, and I think we're all as your fans, as your followers, as your friends, we're all so proud of you, so excited for you, so excited for the US tour that's coming up, and all the other big tours, big artists, big everything that's coming your way, my man. I mean, honestly, a true inspiration. And even just to hear you talk about the growth process and the journey and traveling to a whole new country and not being able to speak the language, but music is the language. That's just incredible. That's just so cool to me, Aaron. And so I want to give, before I ask you any more questions, we got about 10 minutes left. There are some people who are, hopping in the chat and asking some questions. I want to make sure we give a, shout out to the fans, shout out to everybody, and answer these questions. So I'm going to ask a couple questions from people who are in here. Um, I see that Bash Chats. Is this wifey?
That's wifey, yes.
Hello, wifey. She says no questions for Aaron. I know that guy. And then she just said, "Oh, it's a question for me. I didn't even read it. I just started reading." She says, "What lipstick shade are you wearing?" Thank you, thank you. This is called Neon Orange. It's a matte lipstick. Thank you for the beautiful question, Queen. Thank you for relinquishing your mans to me on Nikki Banz Live for an hour. Appreciate you, Queen. Okay, now a question for you, Aaron. Okay, there's a question here from Kaflexian who says, "How did you develop your chops early on?"
I developed my chops early on by listening to other drummers really around me. I would say the most influential drummer that helped me with like my chops is this guy named Trevor Woodgett, which he's still in Muncie right now. He's like one of the greatest drummers in the world to me. grew up with him, and he's probably like the number one cat who like absolutely just helped me develop like a sound. Like I had never heard chops before or anything like that, and he was like 10, like just whooping ass on drums at like 10, like, and I had
Wow.
never seen a kid like at that type of level, like play at that type of level. You know, he was definitely a prodigy. But I would say like on the technical side, you know, like developing rudiments. Like at the end of the day, chops are just rudiments, you know, which rudiments are the basic foundation of drumming. When I started learning how to read at the age of 8, my private instructor taught me how to, you know, use rudiments and figure out what rudiments were. And so I started playing, you know, doubles and singles and paradiddles and all that stuff. When it comes to the rudiments, started learning all the rudiments. And so I would say if you want to continue to develop your rudiments or develop your chops, then you have to go to the basic foundation of drumming, which is rudiments, and you have to go and really, really sit with that, and you have to respect the art of drumming. And if you respect the art of drumming, then you'll learn I would say at least learn or master at least 6 rudiments. If you master 6 rudiments, then you can apply it all over the drum set. When it comes to chops, you have to master these rudiments in order for you to in order for your muscle memory in your hands to just do whatever it is that you're thinking of. You don't want to be thinking about, okay, right, left, right, left. You just want to just be able to do it, you know, without thinking about it. So it has to become muscle memory. And so to answer your question in short, listening to those around me, peers, but then also studying the basic foundation of drumming in order to develop chops.
I see we have some proper drummers in here who are asking you some serious questions about drumming. So I love that question. There's another one here from Alex Hits Drums who's asking how many snares and what is your favorite one?
Oh man, how many snares? I have probably 20 snares. Hold on. If he's
Yes,
still
going on a tour again.
right. So of course, there's 2 snares right there. I would explain those, but it would take a long time. And then back here, there's a whole like curtain. So I unhook this up here, and then you see all these snare drums back here.
Oh my gosh.
And so yeah, and so this is only a few of them. I still have a couple that are missing. Some are just like out. Like I think I have one like in the car right now. That I didn't take out because I use it so much. Because I use it so much, so I just sometimes I get lazy. I shouldn't do it because it's like 20 degrees outside, but sometimes I just get lazy and just leave stuff in the car. Sometimes if I'm just using just a lot, but
yeah.
So yeah, I have about 20 snares. I would say I don't necessarily have a favorite because I go through moods. Sometimes I'm in love with one and I may use it for a month or so, and then I just go through phases. I would say my top 3 that I've been using a lot is my dentist chamber snare, which is the vintage little off-white one that is off to the side on my drum set right now. There's a Pearl Drums. It's called a Stavecraft snare that I really love. I haven't used it in a while, but I really, really love that one a lot. And a third favorite, I would say, is this Pearl Masters custom snare that is green. That's the one that's in the car right now. It's a 14 by 6.5. But I don't have a favorite. Like every snare has a different personality, and whatever I feel that day, I will use that snare. Some snare drums are like really deep. Some snare drums are like really thin.
Okay.
Some snare drums are smaller than others as far as the diameter. Some of them have different colors, but ultimately the reason for all the different snare drums is because they are all made out of different materials, which every material gives you a different sound. And so some of them are made out of maple, some of them are made out of mahogany, some are metal, some are made out of like some type of exotic woods. Some are made out of beech, some are made out of babinga, some are made out of cherry wood. Like,
Wow. For
yeah, yeah,
real.
yeah,
All
yeah.
the woods.
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
woods.
It just goes in depth. Some of them have 24 karat gold hardware. Some of them have black hardware. Some of them have chrome hardware. You know, it just depends on how I feel. You know.
Okay, I swear I have learned more about snares right in these last 5 minutes than I ever knew ever before. So thank you for educating me and the person that asked that question.
No
Oh man,
problem.
I love it. I love it. Okay, yo, Aaron, I feel like I could keep talking to you for a whole another hour. We are at time now. I want to respect your time, but I want to give you, one last opportunity. Any final words, any final shout outs, anything you want to plug, anything you want to put out there that you want to share here at the end of your interview on NIKKI BANZ Live.
Okay, so to anybody who wants to do music for a living, I would just say, um, no matter what is thrown your way, continue to keep pressing on, because you never know how close you are to your break. Your whatever your break is to you, that varies per person. Always continue to just try to grow. In order to make a living, I would say do more than just perform or do more than just play drums. I wouldn't be able to make a whole living and pay for a house and pay electric bill and car notes and cell phone bills and college fees for my kids and all this other stuff had it just been just strictly drums. Now, by all means, drums is like the main thing that I do, absolutely. But at the end of the day, I am an artist. I am a brand, and so I would say just find another niche in what you do. Find the love. The moment that you are chasing money, that's when you make the least amount of money. But if you just do it just for the love of it and just because you absolutely enjoy it, then you'll make the most money that you'll ever make in your life. And so, shout out to my endorsement companies. Shout out to Pearl Drums. Shout out to Zildjian Cymbals. Shout out to Remo Drumheads. Shout out to Roland. Shout out to R-Tom. Shout out to, this is gonna sound hilarious, but Tyler's Butt Wax, which Tyler Tyler's Butt Wax is a wax that goes on the butt of your stick for grip. It's a drumstick grip.
I
So
love it.
yeah, I absolutely like it. His marketing genius, like
It
absolutely.
is.
But so shout out to all the companies that support what I do. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to have a fully, working studio. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to have the support overseas that I need or anywhere in America. Um, Always keep God first. Always keep God first. He is the one who is going to catapult your career. It's not about your talent or gifts, but it's about your relationship with God. And so I just always move with integrity, always move with professionalism, no matter what is thrown your way. Oh yeah. Shout out to Onyx Mics, Onyx microphones. Thank you. Without you guys' microphones, I wouldn't sound like who I sound like or anything like that. So shout out to Onyx and those amazing microphones that you guys make. Thank you. But yeah, I'm not gonna hold you guys. We could talk all day. You already know the vibes. But
We could. We
if
could.
anybody on here has any questions for me, feel free to inbox me. Feel free to message me. I hope you guys learned a lot about drumming and like the inside of like a professional drummer or an artist whose main instrument is drums. Um, I love teaching about drums. If you guys want to hire me for master classes or whatever, just holla at me if you inquire about me recording on any albums or EPs or singles, or if you want me to produce an album or anything like that for anybody, please feel free to message me.
I love it. I love it. Aaron, I'm going to keep you in mind because I'm trying to get you over to the continent. So you already know I'm about to talk to all my musically inclined and artist friends and be like, I got somebody for you out there in Cleveland. So yes, we'll definitely
Listen, I'm
put you
trying to
on.
come to SA. I'm trying to. So you
I
let me know.
know. I will. I will. Once I get back, once I'm done here in Kenya and I get back, I'm gonna start moving and shaking and seeing what I can do for you. But honestly, Aaron, this was such a pleasure. I learned so much from you. You are so full of light and love and energy. I really appreciate you coming on my show today, and I can't wait until we meet up in person, until I come to the open mic night in Cleveland, until I see you perform, until we get you to South Africa. I can't wait for all the things, but they're definitely coming. We'll make sure of that. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for this platform and this opportunity to be on here. And this is amazing what you're doing. And I'm just glad that I'm able to even just be a part of this. So thank you.
Hey, appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, everybody. This is NIKKI BANZ Live. We'll be back next Tuesday. Aaron, we appreciate you. Have an amazing rest of your morning, night, wherever you are in the world. And we'll catch you next time. Bye, Aaron.
See ya.